Good evening again, wrestling community, and welcome to the latest May 28th, 2011 edition of Wrestle Talk Show. I'm your host, Joshua Zimmerman, here to bring you the latest and greatest professional wrestling news, bits, rumors, ins and outs, anything and everything pro wrestling, we cover it. First and foremost, like we always do, I want to first off excuse myself for my cold. I'm coming down with the beginning of a cold, so it might only get worse, or I might have caught it in time, but we want to thank our audience. Thank you guys for your viewership. Without you, this would not be fun. Without you, this would not be possible. Yesterday and with what I report you today, we've made great strides. In today's section, there's some show news that shows significant improvement in almost a 2-week time. In a 2-week time, significant improvements being made. So basically, we're averaging every week and a half to 2 weeks. The show is growing more and more, and that's with what we do here, the promotion we do via online, and our networking outlets, and our promotion that we do from in-house, and you, the fans, but it's a majority of you, the fans, word of mouth, youtube.com/CWE company. From there, everything else, we'll get you everything else Wrestle Talk Show related. But let's move into the start of the show by saying last night's SmackDown ratings are not up yet, or I could not find them. If a fan wants to submit them for the benefit of the other viewers of the show, please do so, and it would be much obliged. But right now we're going to move in a little offbeat, as it's more of a news day than a ratings day, and give you some show news. Again, we're going to scroll up to the top of our page, because we here at Wrestle Talk Show are always prepared, and give you the latest and greatest demographic news. As we always state, these statistics are provided via Insight, which is a program through YouTube which analyzes our videos and its views and the audience, etc., etc. The age demographic of 45 to 54-year-old male and female makes up for 38% of our audience. Again, all of these statistics are per every 24 hours. The system updates itself, so keep that in mind. Not to say that that's not how it wouldn't be, but just keep it in mind so you can do your own figuring in your head. 45 to 54-year-old male and female, 38% of the total audience. 25 to 34 makes up 30 to 35%. We were kind of sketchy on the number as to where the demographic fell on the grid. It does it in intervals in 20s and not like 5, almost like a football field. Kind of like a football field, 0, 20, and then in between is almost a guesstimation, but we want to say closer to 35% of our audience is 25 to 34-year-old male and female. So thank you guys. And our lowest in the last 24 hours. So again, I say, take this with a grain of salt, because this number isn't this dramatically low. And you've also seen shows where it looks like the older, our parents' demographic is more into wrestling. So I don't know if this is necessarily the best way to get statistics, but it updates every 24 hours, so it leaves a margin for error by default. 18 to 24, Actually, not our lowest. I take that back. The 18 to 24-year-old male and female demographic make up 10% of our total audience. And the lowest in the last 24 hours is the 35 to 44-year-old male and female demographic, which in the last 24 hours only accounts for 5% of our audience. As of yesterday, nothing pretty much changed in the male-female overall. The male audience makes up for 92% of the total audience, and female, as they fluctuate between 6 and 15%, fell in these last 24 hours, at 8% of our total audience. And a reminder again that these statistics are updated by YouTube every 24 hours and are much likely to change. When we were doing the enhanced, looking into our progress so far, we noticed viewership increased for our May 15th show that we had advertised with the logo contest, then trended back down to normal, or what we call regular rates based on current progress, at or around May 17th, 2011. But then again, a slight gain around May 19th, and then appeared to drop off and stay at the regular or consistent rate of regular viewership. Back at regular rates, up for our May 15th show. Up again for May 19th. And in a nutshell, back down to regular viewership trends by May 22nd. From this point, viewership is a steady and consistent rate, and as of now is being looked at as progress, but just a phase until more improvement develops. As we all know, we're not going to take these numbers and run and think that we have overnight success here, as these are just the building blocks of success. We don't want overnight success. We want to be your wrestling company, bringing you wrestling news, letting you asking questions, implementing them into the show, all this and more. It'll all be explained, guys. We haven't gotten into the wrestling news yet. Let me just tell you some even more good news about the show to show you that your help has really helped us. And when we get to our spots, you'll understand why the spots are important and how this all relates, how this all comes full circle. From May 14, 2011 to May 27, 2011, in that time frame alone, the show gained over 400 viewers. It's about 480 some to be exact. 68% of our viewership community comes from the United States. 16% hail from and watch our product from the United Kingdom. Taiwan, India, Norway, and Brazil each hold 4% of our audience. So each country, 4% of the population watches Wrestle Talk Show. We want to thank our United States, our local people, our people abroad. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And when you tally these four up, the total viewership of the four is 16% of the worldwide audience, if you're basing it on the worldwide stats. Not necessarily a topic, but just to give you an insight on a column, a section of the statistics that we comment on the most, but most engaging videos got popularity this week. 32% of our total overall audience audience finds the most recent Lesnar, quote, Lesnar affects buy rates. Get to know the host where TNA could do better as one of the most engaging videos. That's 32% favor this video. Another 20% of the total overall audience favor Wrestle Talk Show Presents TNA Genesis Review, Poor Outlook for 2011 Part 2. And I remind YouTube users and new listeners again, and those that just don't follow along, we used to be on a format with YouTube before we upgraded our recording, our webcam and recording methods to where we could only record within the YouTube specified 15 minutes. So you'll notice in the archive shows at youtube.com/CWE Company that a lot of the shows in the very beginning to midpoint or end of summer, I want to say rather, around Thanksgiving, give or take, I believe, were two-parters because just as I would get on a rant, YouTube would cut me off and I would only have 15 minutes to give you the news and my outlook on things, whereas we've explained before, this format widens it. But if 20% of the audience favor the Genesis review, TNA Genesis review, and TNA's Poor Outlook for 2011 Part 2, then I encourage you, obviously, to encourage Part 1, where Part 2 obviously got its luster, but more or less saying if you like 2, watch 1. Even though I don't think I should have to say that, most people would favor 1 and then be convinced into 2, but who knows? 12% of the audience favored the down-to-earth bonus content, the Q&A. The Q&A with myself, Joshua Zimmerman. 12% of the audience liked WWE demands private insurance for wrestlers. Raw rankings losing ground. That was our most recent video after we found it absurd that WWE won't provide insurance but mandates that its contracted wrestlers obtain and pay for private insurance with no help whatsoever from WWE right after Dana White and the UFC covered them all and the UFC's covering all the expense. It's almost like going out of your way to do the exact opposite to piss off the sports entertainment industry and those that work in it, Vince. But for my rant on that, please check out that show. Wrestle Talk Show Presents WWE Demands Private Insurance for Wrestlers. Raw ratings losing ground is the name of the show. 8% of the audience enjoyed the CFO conference review a couple videos ago, where Project Evergreen and new content and the TV network were outlined. The last 4 videos, there's an editor's note at the bottom here, but I'll just read verbatim, including the editor's note. The last 4 videos being outlined gained 4.0% of the total overall attention of our audience. Basically, each video got 4% of the audience's attention, but only 3 of them were considered videos. And they were video review, The Backyard, which is the first video we did, I believe, right after Christmas vacation. Next was, well, that was part 2. So, of course, check out The Backyard DVD review part 1. It was a DVD based on backyard wrestlers' aspirations of being scouted and getting the phone call from the pros of World Wrestling Entertainment, or some, in most cases, just long time work to live a stable life. Next was my show on Vicky Guerrero Heat, Does It Send a Bad Message? And the most recent video where we announced UFC giving its workers insurance, and the WWE. And in that show, we also reported the first quarter earnings review that we were, again, about a week behind on, but you guys were nice about that, so we appreciate it. I apologize that I lose my voice on you. And as mentioned before, it was mentioned 4 videos, but the fourth video was actually something I did as a PSA when we first launched Wrestle Talk Show after I was attacked in the neighborhood that I live in. So we're considering it non-wrestling related, which instead of we did a 4.0 audience viewership of each video, so we had to readjust the figure of 16% of the audience liking 4 videos to 12% of the audience liking 3 videos. So the audience viewership, since only 3 of the videos were wrestling related, was 12%. Without further ado, moving into your wrestling news, Hulk Hogan to be featured in a new video game. TNA star Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan's main event will be released on Xbox 360 Connect in the fall. It's a performance-based wrestling game that allows players to train with Hogan, to build their own wrestling personalities, and learn the art of showmanship to win over the crowd, according to Xbox360.ign.com. So to find out more about the game, again, Hulk Hogan's main event is the name of the game. More information can be obtained at Xbox360.ign.com. Ric Flair's agent speaks about his contempt of court issues. Flair declines to comment during statement. Updating the story on a warrant issued for Ric Flair's arrest on Thursday, Flair's agent says he, quote, intends to comply with a court order to repay HighSpots.com per the terms of a settlement. Flair's agent, Melinda Morris Zanoni, conveyed Flair's response to the Charlotte Observer after Flair declined to comment to the newspaper. Zanoni also labeled the matter a small business dispute. What's seen as a small business dispute by them is Ric Flair owing HighSpots $35,000 and 300 autographs per the terms of a legal settlement. He is to comply or face up to 90 days in jail. After the court order was issued on Thursday, wire services began picking up the story. The Associated Press published a report which was picked up by the local Fox affiliate in Charlotte at foxcharlotte.com. WWE Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon took the time to speak out about the recent death of Macho Man Randy Savage. The following is the full article that Vince McMahon wrote for Time magazine regarding the death of Randy Macho Man Savage. Quote, "It is important in sports and it's important in entertainment to stand out. Randy knew that right away. Right away he wanted to leave his mark, and to do that, he was aware he had to make himself different from everyone else. One way he did this was concentrating on his outfits, those brightly colored costumes with foot-long fringe that became his trademark. He brought to wrestling a unique look and style." Quote, Randy, who died, who brought to wrestling a unique look and style. Give me 1 minute, folks. Quote, "Randy, who died of a car crash May 20th at the age of 58, was one of the building blocks of what is now the WWE, previously known as World Wrestling Federation. He had a very unusual voice. Vince remembers his snap into a Slim Jim, oh yeah commercials, and the fact that he was extremely charismatic about it. Quote, perception is very important in this business," Vince added, and he also had a very high opinion of himself, something he needed in a locker room full of performers who had been around for a while and had big personalities and followings like Hulk Hogan. Like Hulk Hogan today, Randy is like Hulk Hogan. Today, Randy is remembered as one of wrestling's all-time greats. No question about it. He certainly was. And that is a direct quote from the article Vince McMahon, Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon wrote for Time magazine regarding the recent death of former professional wrestler Macho Man Randy Savage, as we reported yesterday and as was reported earlier by other outlets. Chris Jericho is the host of the 2011 Revolver Golden Gods Awards show, which premieres on VH1 Classic at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday night. The awards show, which was taped in Los Angeles on April 20th, will feature a performance by Jericho's band Fozzy, along with other top metal and rock bands. It's been announced that Randy Orton versus Sheamus for the World Heavyweight title will take place next week on next week's WWE SmackDown episode. Sheamus was booked to win a number one contender match over Christian and Mark Henry during the main event of Friday's episode to set up Orton's next title defense. Oh shit. Something I forgot to fill in. After being audited by Connecticut for 2 years, WWE faces a fine which it's disputing. I was reading the story and forgot to jot the rest of the notes down, but I'll add to it in the comments page when this video posts to our Facebook, facebook.com/CWE Company, twitter.com/CWE Company. But I encourage our fans to follow Facebook as I use it more often. WrestleMania 27 estimated buy rates are in. WWE has released its estimated projections for the buy rates, and they come in over the 1 million mark as the company had hoped. WWE releases estimated buy rate that tops the 1 million marker that the company was aiming for. WWE's WrestleMania 27 drew 1,042,000 in conversion, 1.04 million pay-per-view buys, according to a preliminary estimate released this week in WWE's monthly business report. WWE did not include the split of domestic versus international buys in previous public comments on WrestleMania's performance. WWE has noted domestic buys were up 30% and international buys up 15% from WrestleMania 26. In the monthly business figures as of April 30th, WWE did not include a preliminary estimate for the Extreme Rules pay-per-view that occurred on May 1st. WWE will report complete second quarter 2011 results later this year, which will include official pay-per-view buys for WrestleMania, Extreme Rules, Over the Limit, and the upcoming Over the Limit and Capital Punishment. TNA Slammiversary, new matches added, and an updated match card lineup we have for you now for what's left of the TNA fan base. TNA announced 3 more matches for the Slammiversary pay-per-view on June 12th during Thursday's Impact Wrestling episode. The additional matches include Scott Steiner versus Matt Morgan, Samoa Joe versus Crimson, and Knockouts champion Mickie James versus Angelina Love for the Knockouts title. Also during Impact, TNA set up Beer Money's next tag title defense against unknown opponents at the pay-per-view. The storyline is James Storm will have to find a replacement for Robert Roode if Roode isn't healthy after he was taken out by Immortal on last week's show. The updated lineup for the upcoming June 12th event is as follows. Your World Heavyweight title match features champion Sting facing Mr. Anderson. Kurt Angle again versus Jeff Jarrett in a number 1 contender match to the TNA title, with Angle's Olympic gold medals on the line. Scott Steiner versus Matt Morgan. Samoa Joe versus Crimson. Knockouts champion Mickie James versus Angelina Love for the Knockouts title. TNA Tag Champions Beer Money, James Storm and Robert Roode versus opponents to be announced for the TNA Tag titles. And let me take a quick break before we get into our plugs. Sorry folks, needed to get a drink. But let's get into the people that make this possible, the people that help us out with the news bits, rumors, the information swaps, the tidbits, the heads up, all that. We help those who help us and throw back to those So let's begin by doing that right after this. And again, Justin, I just want to add real quick that will probably go out with Monday's mail. My postage was a little off. I was all set to mail it out today, and a little bit of confusion, but you should have it by the end of this week. So congratulations and thanks for holding tight. But the first set of plugs, which is always us, visit us on our online site, WrestleTalkShow.webs.com. Visit the interactive forum. Pose a question. Give your opinion on a question already there. Support the show via PayPal as little or as much as you can. The registered PayPal account is cwecompany@gmail.com. For those who can't financially contribute, we completely understand financial hardship. Our next best thing, and sometimes better than money, is referral. If you like the fact that this is interactive, if you like the fact that you can post a comment on youtube.com/CWEcompany, youtube.com/CWEcompany, and it gets answered or associated in our next video. If you like being a part of your wrestling and not being treated like a child and just being told to sit in front of your TV every Monday, Thursday, and Friday nights and not get both the ins and outs of wrestling, if you like having all that, tell a friend. When you're on the YouTube channel, check out the back episodes. Directly under the video, click on the like button. From there, you can directly post it to your own Facebook. Share it with friends via MySpace, Facebook, all the networking sites you can link it to. Comment on each and every video. Subscribe to our YouTube channels. Help us become bigger. The bigger we become on YouTube, the bigger it becomes. Our sponsorship will get better, and we'll be able to bring you better produced stuff. As of the 1-year show, you'll begin to see our new production format and things like that come into play, as well as, yes, it has been confirmed, possibly a new format, but definitely a new website launch plan for the 1-year anniversary show. All that coming up within months. Within either, it's either next month or July, but we will find that out. We already have the material laid out. But yes, we're looking for contributors as well. So that same email, cwecompany@gmail.com. Submit show-related questions, comments, concerns, your reviews. But if you'd like to contribute and be a part of this show, this growing production, what will be a wrestling review show and is the Wrestling Fans Review Show, we need people to, I want somebody to rotate with Justin, so we need people that not all the time, but on a rotating schedule, would cover Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Superstars, pay-per-views, anything wrestling related that we can base the show on, whether you want to do just a recap of the show, a point of view blog, and a recap of the show to go along with it. The amount of work is up to you. Discuss it with me prior to doing it. Submit what you want to do and maybe a starting point on how you'd like to implement your idea to, again, cwecompany@gmail.com. youtube.com/cwecompany. Tons and tons of material official episodes, bonus content, all that and more. Join our friends at the PW Torch every Monday through Friday. Wade Keller and James Codwell do a wrestling review live cast with a rotating host. Monday, the hour before Tough Enough, which is 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Information and up-to-the-minute wrestling news is available at pwtorch.com. And don't forget to visit wadekeller.com and his Twitter, twitter.com Keller_Wade. Visit their friend and our friend Jason Powell. He does a weekly 45 minutes or more of free wrestling audio where he covers a pay-per-view, a Raw, a SmackDown, whatever he's closest to. ProWrestling.net. He also covers wrestling almost up to the minute. All our friends at Smart Wrestling Fan every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight, sometimes later. They do a 3-hour wrestling review show, The Week in Professional Wrestling. I encourage you to watch the live version, as the most of the bonus content or non-wrestling related content is edited out by the time it's posted for listening Wednesday morning. So again, smartwrestlingfan.com every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. All the mentioned sites have a monthly subscriber rate. Which gives you ad-free access to their sites, PW Torch and ProWrestling.net. Bonus audio, you get the roundtables, back issues. For $10 a month, you can not only get an internet copy of the newsletter, but you can get the newsletter that's been published, by the way, since 1987, sent directly to your door. They do a this point in history, this day in history, 5, 10, and 20 years ago, so you can take a look back on past Torch talks where they sit down with WWE creative members, current wrestling figures of the moment, insight like you wouldn't believe. So I encourage you. Their rates range from $3.50 to about $10 a month. Ours is being advertised on the 1-year anniversary show at $2.50 a month, if not lower, but $2.50 seems to be the tentative rate. Our friends also on YouTube, the Wrestling Geniuses. Follow them on YouTube. Find them. They're the Wrestling Geniuses, all one word. They should be linked to my channel in some way, shape, or form. So I encourage you to check them out. Moving on to your show segment for tonight. And again, folks, thanks for hanging out with me. Kind of a quiet, dreary Pennsylvania night, but we'll get through it. And the show segment actually started off kind of a backstory, not to kill time, but to just so you see where I'm coming from. Started out as a question I had myself regarding this Ric Flair owing HighSpots $35,000 and 300 signed autographs per an agreement. With Ric Flair's money, status, and all that, especially, I mean, I know your reps are trained to water whatever you do down, but what excuse is there for someone like Ric Flair to not just pay the $35,000, sit at your office at home for a couple of nights, sign a couple hundred a night or 100 a night or 300 autographs, so that's not even a tall order. Pay the 35 grand, give them the 300 autographs and be done with them. Instead, to not pay them and drag it out to where a warrant and your name has to be dragged out in a not so positive way. Not saying it's similar to Jeff Hardy, but considering TNA is trying to implement positive change, it's recovering, whether it will admit it or not, from the Jeff Hardy fallout that they still want to claim wasn't entirely their fault. But again, as you'll listen if you listen in back episodes, this was TNA being an enabler because Jeff Hardy should have been pulled long before Jeff Hardy was actually pulled. It shouldn't have taken the result of Victory Road to help to get TNA to put Jeff Hardy into help. The same as while they're recovering from this, me using the little promoter sense I have would say any publicity right now that isn't good for us. And Ric Flair bailing on a wrestling equipment supply company renowned like HighSpots for $35,000, which the court deemed he can more than pay. Do you think, we say there's separate rules, but does this prove that celebrities can have outstanding accounts that can be forever outstanding as long as they eventually get paid? And when warrants actually get issued, they're hushed to a simple business dispute? No. The man tried to dodge him for 35 grand that I'm sure HighSpots sent him a few different invoices before they took this route, because it cost HighSpots money, just like it did Ric Flair, to obtain the representation, to come up with that half-ass spiel of this is a small business dispute. No, this was Ric Flair thinking, I guess, that a place like that, I've dealt with HighSpots. HighSpots sends invoices and phone calls. The rep calls you. The rep, even if you don't owe anything, calls you to try and sell you the latest products or additions to products that you've bought. So Ric Flair, this was just Ric Flair trying to get out of paying $35,000. My point of view is, this is the message I get. If you're flaring, you're not worried about the 35K, so why not pay it? Like I said before, it's just dragging out the cost more so his legal team can create, like I just said, convenient press releases that label this as a simple business matter rather than Ric Flair trying to skip out on a $35,000 tab. Why aren't people like this called out on shit like this? Especially somebody like Ric Flair. Everybody's going to take the same stance and laugh about this like I am, because it's Ric Flair. He's a legend of this business. He's made his millions and then some. 35 grand is nothing. So why is it like pulling teeth? And why is it hush hush and forgiven? Oh, now that you've issued my warrant, I'll pay you. Why are these people allowed to be given so much leeway before they're told you have to comply like everyone else? And I'm not talking the Lindsay Lohan judge speech. I'm saying get them before it exceeds it to where you look bad if you don't do something. get them when it starts. No, we're not giving you breathing room. You're not leaving this courtroom until A, you make a deposit on the 35 grand or HighSpots. Well, to be fair, I'll end it this way. I'll look into it more. But I imagine HighSpots demanded a partial payment and there was a balance. But it sounds like this has gone to court once or twice before the contempt verdict actually went through. So I would have more or less said the first time around, so there was no escaping it. Mr. Flair, you're going to give HighSpots a percentage now, X amount of dollars now, and you're going to hereby sign into an agreement that says you'll pay HighSpots X amount, like $1,000 a month, or say $5 grand a month, until they're paid off. I don't understand why Jeff Hardy, Charlie Sheen, wrestling, non-wrestling, entertainer, not entertainer, why, if your name's popular, the rules change. And I might sound naive, but they're people just like us. And it's Ric Flair. It would make more sense if it was somebody we knew was broke, but it's Ric Flair. I just don't get it. But that's my point of view and our show for the night as I begin to lose my voice. Again, visit us at wrestletalkshow.webs.com. Interact with the forum. Support the show via PayPal, referral, or all the ways listed on that link. Submit your questions, comments, concerns, columnist requests to cwecompany@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, both at CWE Company. And like I said, that Connecticut issuing WWE a fine, I will update on, and SmackDown ratings, as soon as they come up, they will also be updated and posted under this video on YouTube and Facebook. Remember, guys, for this video and every other, youtube.com/CWE Company. Remember, after viewing, like, subscribe, comment, refer a friend, in that order. Thanks a lot, guys. It's been a blast, as always.